For Beijing 2022, in about more than 1 month, we're about to celebrate the spirit of the Olympic Games. This is the encounter between China and also the international games. It is also a witness to see our aspiration and our promise to it. The whole world would have their eyes posed on China, and let's together wait for the excellent performance of our athletes. Yesterday, we heard a very good news from Colorado of USA. We have our Chinese athletes winning the medals. We have in total organized the 3 rounds of the freestyle halfpipe, and these athletes have repeated the tricks they used in the past. For example, the turning of the body of 900 degrees, and also some other turnings of 540 degrees. And finally, our Chinese athletes had won 96 scores. And Li and Zhang have also made very good scores during these games and competition. And in another game, the winner of the gold medal is the French, and the score of the Chinese athletes is also not bad, is 89 points. And we have also continued with our preparation for the 2022. For example, the snowmaking and also the installation of the skiing slopes for the biathlon. And the lowest temperature could even reach minus 28 degrees Celsius during the Winter Games. Considering the meteorological factors, we have also prepared enough thickness of the preparation of the snow, expected to be 60 centimeters to 80 centimeters. And we may also expect to see the concentrated part with a thickness of the snow prepared for the games from 80 centimeters to 1 meter. Recently, the IOC, IPC, and the Beijing 2022 have co-published the second version of the Beijing 2022 playbook. Athletes coming to Beijing to participate in this game should be fully vaccinated. Otherwise, they have to arrive 21 days before the participation into the games for quarantine reasons. And for the athletes teams of China, they are also in preparation for the participation of the game. We have also approved the installation within the closed-loop management. It also means that the platform for those big air performances and competition, they're also ready. On the 15th, we have also delivered a training center in Hebei province. And we have also trained more than 200,000 volunteers working at the city level. They're about to come to Beijing and work during the Beijing 2022 Olympics. We have 3 areas for the competition. Most of the sports on the snow would take place in the Zhangjiakou area. Over there, we can expect to see 51 gold medals. And you also will hear the report from our journalist Wang Yutong. Together, we're about to check out the stadium of competition in the Guyangshu area. Together, I'm about to show you around the stadiums For example, today I'm now at the Guyangshu Stadium. I'm about to show you today the big air platforms for the skiing and also the snowboarding. We have this very beautiful shape of the platform for the big air. Looks like the Ru Yi, a symbol of Chinese culture for the good luck. We have the preparatory tracks, the landing slopes, and also the areas of stop. For Beijing 2022, for the big air in Zhangjiakou area, we will take all the competition there, and in there we can expect to see 5 gold medals given to the athletes. We can look at that ring on the top of the platform. You have 360 degrees of sight viewing. After the organization of the Winter Olympic Games, you can also transform that into a conference center. And at the bottom of it, you can, in the future, transform this area into a football playground. So that is a very efficient use of the stadiums, and we have also considered their use afterwards. When you take a walk here, you can have a better personal experience about the design. For example, we have this corridor of transportation in the air. It is in the shape of a necklace is connecting the different buildings, for example, the competition areas and also the technical buildings and office buildings. It will facilitate people's traveling here inside the stadium area. In the future, we can also transform this area into the entertainment and catering as well as exhibition areas. We have a total length of 8.7 kilometers for the competition tracks of the biathlon. We have prepared these areas for competition and also the areas for daily training. Afterwards, after the organization of Beijing 22, we're about to transform this area into a multiple-purpose area which can enable the daily training of our national athletes and also to give fun and joy opportunities to our ordinary people so that they can come to this place for their daily practice. The biathlon is also one of the important components of this Winter Olympics. We have combined 2 totally different activities. So if you want to practice this sport, you have to acquire the capability to know the still part and also to know the motion part. Today we have invited Mr. Hao Shang, the director of this area. For the installation of the tracks and also the details, could you please give us more information? For our stadium for the biathlon, there are some unique characteristics. For example, this area is for the shooting. Our stadium is used for both the Winter Olympics and the Paralympics. We will consider the different positions of the athletes for Paralympics. I've noticed that all those targets for shooting, they are very small. And if you are lying down on your belly in order to do the shooting, and then this target would be even smaller. If you are doing the shooting in a standing position, then we can expect to see a bigger target. I'm now at the center for the cross-country skiing. We have a total length of the tracks of 9.7 kilometers. On the northern slope is for the official competition, while on the southern slope, we can expect to see an area used for the daily practices. And later on in this area, we may generate 12 winners for the medals of gold. Now it's already very late in the day. We have -8 degrees Celsius in the outdoor area, and our snow generators have started their work. Today we have invited Mr. Wei, the person in charge for this management area. I can feel the wind and the snow. It seems like that we have rather stern blocks of the snow. Yes. We have the snow number 3, the type number 3. It's of rather good quality and it's very dry. The reason why we have chosen the type number 3 is that there are still some more days to go before the Beijing 2022 Winter Olympics. We have to wait for the snow to go old. We also have to make sure that the snow generated by the pumping machine, they can fall precisely on the tracks where we want them. And with the changes of the wind orientation, accordingly, we can also change the direction of the outlets for the snow. What is the thickness of the snow? We want it to be 60 centimeters. And because on this side of the slope, we cannot receive the sunshine, so we can have 60 centimeters and it's enough. And with that side, with the sunshine, we should make it at least 1 meter. Here we have a cluster of the stadiums for the snow and ice sports of 3 major categories of the snows. So we are looking forward to the organization of the Beijing 2022 Winter Olympics. Yes, for that cluster of stadiums at Guyangshu, it's breathtaking, it's very beautiful to see. And we're also promoting those sports of ice and snow. If we want to win a lot of gold medals and if we want to show a very good performance to the whole world, then we have to apply science and technology. For example, in the province of Hebei, we have transformed an ancient space into the training center. In the past, it was a factory, and today we have translated this whole place into the Ice and Snow Sports Training Center. And this object has a total length of 50 meters, a width of 15 meters, and also a height of 8 meters. It can generate very strong wind. With the speed skating, you can experience the power of the wind of as much as 7th level. And if for the others, for example, for the sleigh, you can even experience a much stronger wind up to the 12th level. So we have to use this wind hole. As you can see that we have a bigger height than the width of this hole of wind. So we are doing the training with these athletes. We are changing from time to time the position and orientation of the wind and also the body of the athletes, so that the athletes lying there can feel the real speed. Sometimes this power of the wind can reach up to 35 meters per second. For the athletes going through the trainings in front of the wind holes, the wind tunnels, they can later on put up the other materials for the later trainings. We also have the surveillance cameras so that we can collect more information for the later analysis and also to draw the conclusion from the daily trainings. We have also a system to capture the positions of the athletes. We also have an interaction system to collect information and share the information. In total, we have 15 programs of events for the competition. A lot of athletes have already experienced this training with the wind tunnels. And also, we have a professional team for the development of those equipments for our athletes. So it can help those athletes to better resist the wind power. The Beijing 2022 Winter Olympics are drawing near, and people have more enthusiasm for this sport. I'm about to bring you to the very first skiing station in the People's Republic of China. It has a history of more than 63 years, and we have the journalist on site. Could you please show us around? Yes, of course. I'm now in Tonghua city of Jilin province. I'm at a skiing station. We have already renewed this whole place. Yesterday, it's reopened to the public. Talking about this skiing station, it has a very long history. It's the very first alpine skiing station after the foundation of the new China. And we have organized the first national competition for skiing. Yesterday is reopened after the improvement of the facilities. The altitude is more than 900 meters. The effective elevation is more than 590 meters. We have 33 tracks for the skiing, and they are in different degrees of difficulty. So with all different tracks of difficulties, they can be adapted to the needs of different users. And here we also have very good natural conditions. For example, in the winter season, the average temperature is -13 to -18. And we also have a very long freezing season for us to have the natural snow. After the natural snowfall, we have the pink snow. And later on, we have used the machine to form the different shapes. It looks like the noodles. We call it the snow in the shape of the noodles. What are the characteristics of those noodle shape snow? It can give better reaction to the snowboard used by the athletes. And yesterday, actually last night, we have been working on in order to give a better experience to our users. Recently, we have also organized the third round of competition in the province. More than 200 athletes have joined these games. And in this challenge competition, we have added a group of professional athletes so that we have elevated the platform and we have attracted more viewers for these games. Today, people are more familiar with the ice and snow games, and they come to this place for their own experience. As we can see today, some local people, they have come to the skiing station, and for all the viewers from the other provinces, you're also welcome to come to this province and come to this city to have a try yourself. Thank you very much. After talking about the skiing, what about the skating? Have you ever progressed with your skating skills? I don't think so. I've practiced a lot. And I'm usually laughed by the young children practicing at the same time in the same stadium. Today, we know that a lot of parents would send their children to learn the skills of the skating. We know that a lot of children are learning the skills, and some of them are also trying out the figure skating. Jinfei, could you please show us around? Yes, of course. I'm now in Shenyang City of Liaoning Province. Now it's in an indoor practicing area for the skating. As you can see, that it's full of people. A lot of children are gathered here to practice this ice sport. We can find children of 5 to 6 years old, and also some bigger children, older children. They can practice a more challenged, like the figure skating. This whole indoor practicing area has 3,600 square meters. It's an indoor practicing area. So the temperature felt by your body is around 20 degrees Celsius. You don't feel very cold. And apart from those young children, you can also notice that there are some adults here. The adults, they are the coaches and tutors for those children. And some of those tutors, they are top-level athletes or practitioners. They are engaged in this national ambition to promote the ice and snow sport towards 300 million people. Today, they are working at grassroots level in order to let more people fall in love with this special sport. For example, the dance of the skating and also the figure skating, etc. More people, thanks to their efforts, have receive this opportunity to get to know the sport. And because the outdoor temperature currently is not as low as expected, so it's much safer for people to practice the skating in indoor areas. And they can do the turning and they can do the jumping. Every time we can see that the tutors, they are patiently repeating those motions and movements to the children and to the students. Every year, there are more than tens of thousands of students acquiring those skills thanks to the help of the teachers. Some of the children, they are even the member of the provincial teams. So because we have this kind of very convenient infrastructures and installations, we can enable all those children to practice the sport. Several hours before our report, we have already reaffirmed the ice layers in this area. Actually, they are pulling the hot water of 65 degrees Celsius on the surface of the ice in order to consolidate the ice. It's very good that today we can offer this opportunity for children to know the ice and snow sport. And in the province of Liaoning, we have started by this year a lot of campaigns and promotion activities to enable their people and citizens to get to know the sport of ice and snow. We also have mobilized the social resources because the national goal is to promote the activities of ice and snow among 300 million people. And as the temperatures outside are dropping down, we expect to see even more people joining the sport of ice and snow. Back to you. Thank you very much for your introduction. I can see the enthusiasm from this indoor skating area. You can see the zoning. Some zones are designated for the beginners and some others for the professionals. Now, let me show you the footage from Qinghai. When talking about Qinghai, usually you will think about the Qinghai Lake. But today, I'd like to put the focus on the sports of ice and snow in Qinghai. I've taken the high-speed railways to the Qinghai. Over there, we know that the land has a very high altitude. Is it difficult for people to practice the ice and snow sports at such a high altitude? Over there, our journalist is waiting for us. He's about to show us the practicing area for the ice hockey. So please show us around. Okay. We know that the Winter Olympics are drawing near. Today we have visited the Ice Hockey Center at the Civil Sports Center. Here we have a total surface of 1,800 square meters with a length of 60 meters and width of 30 meters. A lot of youngsters, they have been attracted to practice this new sport. For example, those players, they are all very young and they are turning around and moving very rapidly in order to capture the ball. They come from the U12 team of Xining City. They are preparing for the competition of next year. Today in the team, we have more than 200 members. With the age group ranging from 3.5 years to 15 years old. They're all fully prepared and they are very well protected. For example, they are wearing the goggles, the neck guard, the skin suit, etc. And let's look at the shoes. The blades are very short and the end of the blade is also rounded off. It's very helpful for them to take the break and also to better manage the speed. Another thing is this stick. We have the stick for the right-hand side and right hand and also for the left hand. You can see it's fully used. You can also see the exposed wood inside. It's very heavy, the traditional one. But today they have the carbon fiber material. It's much lighter to produce this new type of stick. I've also interviewed those young children there. They said that they love the sport, and from the sport they learn how to cope with the other team members. They know the spirit of the team working. And to the other side, people are practicing the figure skating. Our young athletes, they are elegantly performing on the surface of the snow and ice. They're paying attention to the movements of their body. Today, there are more than 100 members of the team. Some of them have started as the beginner. And finally, they have reached the level number 1 and number 2 for the national criteria. And on a daily basis, people would also come to the stadium for some practices and personal experience. Especially in the weekends, you can see the stadium is full of people. Some parents would bring their children to this practicing area so they can have some first-hand experience themselves. You know that here in the city, with the high altitude, it's not easy for us to practice the sports outside. So it's important for us to have this kind of infrastructure which can enable us to do the sports indoor. And the ice and snow sports can enrich our daily lives. Now we know that we have to wait for no more than 50 days before the official Winter Olympics to take place in China. So together we can cheer up for those athletes and wait to see their performance by then. Thank you very much. We can see that people in the western part of China, they have also the strong emotion for the winter games and sports. Now, together, let's see the performance showcased by the non-professional athletes. In the past, we have already shared with you the story of a non-professional athlete of the snowboard. He used to be a baker, but he has also his enthusiasm for the snow sports. He has also joined the games in the southern hemisphere. So today we have interviewed again Mr. Zhang Jiahao. My dream is to join the Beijing 2022. During the competition, I was under huge pressure. On the 19th of November, I was in Netherlands. That was a distant country. And those are the medals won in Chile. 4 medals. I really love the sound. This is a medal for first place, and 1 more for second place, and 2 for third place. I'm about to wear all of them. And also the cloth of my number. In Switzerland, this is in Netherlands. Have you told your dad? No, not yet. He thought I was still in Sweden. When I was small, he wouldn't listen to me, he wouldn't understand me. And even now, but I think he cares a lot for me, and he told me that I should take care of myself. And will we continue with the sport? Yes, of course. But I know that I will not devote 100% of my time and energy into the sport. Snow skiing is for a lifetime. I will keep it one part of my life, and I will also try to learn some new things. I will take some time to think it through before taking the decision for the next step. Looking back, when I made the decision, I'm still full of tears. I used to be that person that would do the all-in. And I was repeatedly hurt. I didn't win a lot of medals and also the achievements, but I was very proud of myself. I'm thinking about the possibility about the interpreter for the Winter Olympics, or even the personnel for the trials to test the ground out. Like that, I can also have a first-hand experience on the practicing area and competition area. I'm very happy. So I hope that all the Chinese athletes who would join this Beijing 2022 Winter Olympics would show their best performance. The athletes, they have showcased their performance in the footage. That is the freestyle skiing. And today we have invited a professor from the Beijing Sports University. He's also the judge in international games. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon. Now, Professor, today you are invited to the studio to explain us about this sport. The freestyle skiing is also referred to as the dancing in the mid-air. Well, after this wonderful footage, we can have some basic understanding of the sport of freestyle skiing. Professor, I know that you've been the judge of a lot of winter competition in the whole world. And could you please give us some more information? What is the focus? And what are the key points? This is a newly developed form of sports. It's been formulated in the developed countries, and later on, it has become popular across the whole world. It has become very popular among the younger generation. For example, the freestyle moguls. It's very challenging in terms of the practicing difficulty. For us, the judges, in the World Cup or in the Winter Olympics, we are not doing the job of a traditional judge because we have a already preset criteria for a certain movement, and later on we will compare the standard with the actual performance of the athletes, and we will see what is the degree of the overlapping. By then, we can give the scores to the athletes. For example, the point of the jumping and also the completion of the technical skills, the turning of 720 degrees or the others, etc. The quality of the movement should also be calculated into the scores given to the athletes. For example, the angle of the knees and also the body movement, etc. If you miss the point, then we will also take some points away. What about the third point? The third point is the landing. We will see finally when you land upon the snow, it's stable or not. So for the jumping and also the landing, there are 2 points respectively. In the air, we have the 5 points. In total, for the whole process is 10 points. And there's also the coefficient for the difficulty degree. That is very detailed explanation. I know that our viewers, you must have already acquired some basic knowledge about the freestyle skiing. And Chinese athletes, they are also very good at the sport. In the Games 2009 and 2018, we have already received 11 gold medals for that. Now let's have a review of the wonderful performance by our Chinese athletes. Successful landing. So, Professor, just now we have admired the video together. The performance of the wonderful Chinese athletes. They have won a lot of medals. And why this advantage of the Chinese athletes in the freestyle skiing? In the past, the Chinese athletes have already accumulated a lot of experience. Back to the 1990s, we have started to find some new breakthroughs. For example, for the alpine skiing and the others, it's hard for us to compete with the other foreign athletes. In 1992, I started to learn the regulations and rules. By then, we still talked about the ballet in the mid-air, and later on, we have generated a new form of sport that is called the freestyle moguls. So we have decided to take those new events as our breakthrough point. So that is a very wise decision because it's new and everyone's equal in front of this new sport. And it's also same with the other types of sports. In the very beginning, we have noticed our gap in comparison with the other foreign athletes. But when there is a new kind of sport, then everyone's equal, and it's very easy for us to fill in that gap and catch up with the athletes. and it's easier for us to make the progress. In 2006, immediately there's a Chinese athletes winning the gold medal for this freestyle skiing sport. We have also applied the experience we have accumulated in the summer games to apply in the winter games. It's very important to select the critical area to all in our energy and time so that we can make greater results of progress. We have at the same time consolidating our position in the areas where we have the advantages, and on the other hand, we are catching up with the other foreign competitors. We're looking forward to more miracles created by the Chinese athletes. Dear viewers, welcome back. Welcome to the special program dedicated to the Beijing 2022. We are also bringing the ice and snow sports into the campus. I'm about to bring you to the Fuzhou city. I'm in the Minjiang city local primary school training center for the curling. With this track of a length of 13 meters, a lot of students, they are gathered to learn the skills. A lot of children today, they have already applied for this lesson of the curling. It's very interesting. It can help you to better balance your body, and you have to cooperate with the other members of the team. It's very meaningful for us to have this chance to work together with our classmates. It can help to reinforce the flexibility of the body and also strengthen the capacity of the decision making. The school has invited professional tutors to help the children to learn the skills. It's very popular sport. It's also a team sport. We also hope that children from a young age, they can have the spirit of team working. Promotion of the ice and snow sports into the campus has made the schools to equip the campus with the installations. In the past, we know that only people living in the northern part of China can have the chance to practice the ice and snow games. But today, even the people living in southern part of the country, they can have an access to the ice and snow sport. What is your expectation to the coming Winter Olympics and also the ice and snow sports? I'm very proud of the progress made in our country. In recent years, we are doing the campaign for the promotion of the ice and snow sports in the country among the adults and also the children. We have noticed that along the way, people have dedicated a lot of efforts for the promotion. The national objective is to promote the activities among 300 million people. So not only the children living in northern part of China, but also those in the southern part of China should have an access to the ice and snow sports so that they can have more areas of interest and they can also have some fun with this new type of sport. We believe that the Beijing 2022 would not be an end for this campaign and this promotion endeavor. I believe that's just the beginning. In the future, there will be more people fall in love with the sport, and in the future, more people can be engaged in the ice and snow sports. I have also very good wishes for our athletes so that they can showcase their best performance in Beijing and in Zhangjiakou. Thank you very much for the sincere wishes to our athletes, and also thank you for joining us. As is mentioned by Professor Chiu, the promotion of the Winter Games cannot be separated with the formulation of the culture. If we have to cultivate the culture among the people, we have to ask our experts for help. I'm about to share with you the story of a tutor. The tutor, Mr. Wu, he has been a witness of the changes of the promotion of ice and snow sports in China. Every year you can see the sandform-like snow falling down the top of the mountain. Tonghua is a very good place for skiing. My name is Wu Jingcai. I'm born in 1942. I'm the first athlete to represent China to participate in the international skiing competition. In 1964, I'm accredited as one of the first group of skiing athletes. I'm also the holder of the national record for skiing. I've also helped to train a lot of national level athletes. I've also received a medal from the nation. Today I'm 80 years old, and I didn't stop the sport practicing. Tonghua is the hometown to skiing. For every household here, you can always find the snowboard and also the skis. In the past, when we didn't have the professional equipment, we made it by ourselves. And in the past, we have very dumb clothes, and today we have more professional equipment. Finally, we're about to celebrate the Winter Olympics in our country. I'm so proud. I feel that I myself have also contributed to the success. Since the 7th of December, we have organized the rounds of exhibition of the torches of the Olympic fire. And in order to ignite the Olympic fire, in the opening ceremony, we have to use our official torches. We have combined the Chinese philosophy into the design of this torch. Now, I'm about to show you a piece from our documentary. Li Jianye is the designer of the Winter Olympic torch for Beijing 2022. In order to have the best idea for design, he had spent a lot of nights thinking here. I'm about to apply the Chinese ancient philosophy into that. The combination with the law of the nature and of the Tao. The treatment with the lines. In the very beginning, I thought it's too industrialized, and the parameter feeling of it is too strong. Later on, I talked with Madam Lin Chunzhen. I was deeply inspired by her words, and she also brought a tree leaf to me. Immediately, I've captured the inspiration. The curves created by the Mother Nature can outrun all the structures artificially made. We have modified our designs by 120 models, and with each version, there are more than 120 different curves. And finally, we have made it. The prototype has come out. And today, this prototype can best represent our idea for flying. So thank you very much for joining us. Please stay tuned next Sunday together. We're about to wait for the Beijing Winter Olympics together.